How's everybody doing? You know what it is. It's Friday evening. Thank you for joining us here. We're at Ritual Madness Podcast. They're sitting in the studio here. Hope you're doing fantastic on this Friday evening. It is about 7:34 p.m. Central Standard Time. I am just getting here, hanging out. We're kind of going over some things, talking about what's going on here in the background. Before we get started here, do me a favor, check out Anti-Broadcasting Incorporated Custom Screen Printing. That's antibroadcasting@gmail.com, or hit them up on the digital phone there, 612-836-9488. That's 612-836-9488. If you're looking to get some screen printing done, I don't know, what can you screen print? Well, you can do your family reunions. You can do your band stuff. You can do your company. You could put anything on a damn shirt. Tell them to go fuck themselves if you want. You know what I'm saying? So get that on a shirt. I think it's a great idea. But Anti-Broadcasting is a company you should use. Antibroadcasting@gmail.com. Again, 612-836-9488. Good folks. Fantastic turnaround. Good solid materials that to work with. And I know they do a bunch of different stuff. And I know if you hit them up for a quote, they will send you a plethora of different merchandise that you can screen print on. I know I've seen them do a bunch of bags and long sleeves, short sleeves, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, all kinds of stuff, windbreakers. I've seen them do some high-vis stuff as well. So give them a shout. Again, antibroadcasting@gmail.com, 612-836-9488. If you're looking to get tattooed here in the Twin Cities, go over to Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective. 612-353-4755. That's lowbrowsaints@gmail.com. Lowbrow Saints, Jason was here, the owner of Lowbrow Saints. He was here last week doing the donkey show with us. Fantastic dude. I love the hell out of that guy. I've known him a long, long time. Glad I had a chance to podcast with those guys again. Him and Matt were super fun. I know a lot of people were having a rough week last week and thanked me after the podcast, just saying how much fun they had and how silly we all were making jokes. And I mean, Adam D and his wife Danielle, they sent us a poop picture, and dude, we analyzed it and it was hilarious. And go back and check it out if you can. Do me a favor, check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com. You can find all the past episodes, 228 in the books right now. Working on 229. Also. Saturday, June 19th, 2021, 10th annual Louis Bailey Senior Memorial Poker Run. Also a benefit for Tanner Young. Check this out. It's going to be a blast. It's always a tragedy when you have a friend or family member come up with cancer. You know what I mean? It's something that you just dread hearing. And Tanner just turned 18 last year and has a really rare case of brain cancer and went through all these treatments, man. And at 18, you know how it is when you were a kid. You're chasing skirts and doing what you got to do as a kid to have fun and be a damn kid, and He's roughing through it, man, and this benefit is something that Louis Bailey and his family have been doing for 10 straight years, and it's we're I guess not so fortunate as far as it to be happening, but fortunate that Louis Bailey and his family were willing to do this benefit. So it starts at Park Place Sports Bar in St. Paul Park, 200 Broadway Avenue. It's $20 per rider. It includes one scorecard, one playing card per stop. 5 stops, dinner at the end of the day, provided by Team Bubba Barbecue. There'll be silent auctions held at Park Place throughout the day. Basically, there'll be somebody sitting there with a bunch of different gear that we've got. We've got a bunch of stuff from Harley, all over, a bunch of different Harley shops. I know Blaine, Wild Prairie. There's a few different ones that have given gift cards, T-shirts, backpacks, Dixon flannels, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so the stops are the No Name Saloon, Gaslight Bar and Grill, the Naughty Hog, Harbor Bar, and back to the Park Place for the dinner, which is included with your entry fee. That's $20 per rider. They're giving away $100 for the best 5-card hand at the end of the evening, and there will be a best bike trophy of the day. And one of our sponsors is Lucky Number 7 Custom Cycles, which is Louis Bailey's company, and they've got a bunch of demos that they're going to be doing as far as like their stereo equipment and what they offer as far as custom motorcycles. And he always brings a ton of motorcycles. He just opened another shop in Milwaukee, I believe, but his Lucky 7 is started in Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth. But he's from here and his family's from here, so this is how they do this every year. They come up and bring a bunch of bikes. And Ritual Madness Podcast is a sponsor. Team Bubba Barbecue is a sponsor. Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective is a sponsor. And Park Place Sports Bar is also a sponsor. So if you can, please join us Saturday, June 19th, Park Place Sports Bar down in St. Paul Park. It's going to be a fantastic time. I hope to see you guys there. And please come and support. I'm going to be doing some raffles all the way through the whole ride, too. So we've got a ton of different stuff to give away. So without further ado, we've got John Suffering in the house. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself, man?
Not too bad, man. It's Friday. I'm glad that they're slowly lifting these restrictions on us here, or coming up soon. How have you been doing through this whole COVID nonsense?
Oh man, it's been a struggle.
Yeah,
especially if you're out there trying to find work.
Yeah,
it depends on the job you're in too. So
yeah,
because with what I do is some people are like, oh, there's plenty of other jobs out there. Well, to me, it's like, well, would you want me to take 60 to 70% from what I used to make?
Right.
It's kind of hard.
Right.
And doing that, then with 3 kids, it's like, woo.
Right.
But they're keeping me going.
Yeah.
And then the music's keeping me going as well, because I have been writing so much music.
Right.
during this time.
Right.
Because I'm trying to get over things, trying to get through a lot of emotions and everything else. So
now you sound like one of the musicians that actually taking advantage of the time. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people. I've even talked to bands that I thought for sure would be writing at this very moment. Like, hey, dude, you should be ready to have you know what I mean? We had a full year and some change to write another album, to get material together, and it's sad to see that people aren't taking advantage of that.
Hey, if you can, go for it, man. Go for it.
Yeah. Why not? You got enough time on your hands. At least a lot of people do anyways.
Oh, yes.
So have you been working through this whole pandemic thing? Have you been able to?
Well, I did find a job for a little bit, but then that job got struck down after a while.
Right.
Because the guy decided to go to another company, and the company I was with, they're like, well, we're going to restructure things now. So they let myself and a couple other developers go. Right. Because I'm a software guy.
Yeah.
And so they let everyone else go. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm back out looking for more work and interviewing.
which to me is so crazy, because there's so many people, and I've talked to people in the trades. I work construction. I've worked this entire time through COVID, and I even got COVID from working the whole fucking time. But it seems to me that there's so many people out of work right now, but they don't want to come back because they're getting unemployment, and they're. Mm-hmm. I honestly believe people are kind of taking advantage of all of that too. You know what I mean?
And I'm to me that really bugs me is when people is like, you know what, I'm actually making more money doing this unemployment thing, so I think I'm gonna sit on my butt myself. I want to get working.
Right.
And it just bugs me when I see people out like that doing that.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. And for a guy who's actually wanting to work, you know what I'm saying, is it's got to be really, really rough. I want to cuss people out all the time. It's you're sitting on your ass, sucking it up for everybody. You know what I mean? And mm-hmm. Hey, man, some people aren't able to go back to work. You know what I mean? Some people have immune deficiency issues, and they can't. Oh, yeah. And they're afraid, or they have elderly parents, or they're, you know what I mean? Like they can't afford it. Their families, you know what I mean? Their kids. I know a lot of people that have taken the time off, to just enjoy family through all of this shit. It's pretty tough. Hey, Tony, thanks for joining us, dude. Tony Lent just said hello. Hey, what's up? On Facebook. I've got to have multiple chat rooms open so I can see everybody talking. Adam D's checking in as well. Let me see here. Mr. John, for keeping yourself in music. Oh, he said, awesome job for keeping yourself in music and writing music. Awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, what's up, Tony? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Macaroni Tony is in the house. Dude, you're looking great, by the way, man. I hope you're feeling better. I know that you've been going through some physical stuff lately, but you're looking good, man. You're trimming down. Fantastic, man. Fantastic. So we were talking off the air about some of the stuff that you've been writing, and I know that there's I've had some friends through this whole COVID thing that had some really, really tough times and some dark times with just dealing with life through this whole thing and being cooped up and not being able to really get out and being afraid to get out. You know what I mean? We talked offline about how you deal with things that go on in your life, and I thought it was fucking amazing. I think that you should share that with people and how you come up with a lot of your ideas for your songs and things like that.
Well, for myself, I've been writing a lot of music about my experiences and how I'm feeling. It's like, when my mother was going through so much pain with her dementia, and seeing her and hearing her cry a lot.
Yeah.
And basically it's like, oh, they're doing this to me, all this to me. He's doing this. I'm like, well, you just try to listen. You can't say, oh, no, they're not there. They're not there. Because, he was talking about my sister and other people who were not even close to her when she was there.
Right.
And so she was crying a lot. And she was like, oh, why are they doing this to me and all this stuff? And so for that song I have written because she died in September of 2019. Mm-hmm. That's before the pandemic.
Right.
And I've written something a little bit similar to that in the beginning. And then when the pandemic hit, I found myself having more time to write things down.
Right.
So I've written a song called She Cries. And that will be through the new Chalice of Suffering album that we're doing right now. And so basically keeping me afloat is writing music down.
Right.
Because I know that people, they don't want to talk to someone because they think, oh, I'm too tough for that. I'm a man. I can go through this myself. I don't need anyone.
Right.
Well, myself, I can't even talk to some people because I'm kind of like a little nervous and I'm kind of macho. But myself, I write things down.
Right.
And so you can tell by some of the songs that you looked at in back of that Psalm Echoes album called A Worthless Disgrace.
Right.
And myself, I was feeling really bad about myself. I feel like I'm just here, but why do I feel so bad?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on with me?
Right.
And so I kind of write some things down, give myself some ideas, just to keep it written down. And so it helps me in a way get out of the rut a little bit, much as I can.
Sure.
So this really has helped me to write down a lot of music. So during this whole pandemic, I've written a lot.
Yeah.
So it's keeping me going.
I know a lot of people like to journal and take things down, and it helps to just get them out, to put them in the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
to just
kind of
don't
share it to anyone. That's fine.
Yeah, and I fit in that category of a guy who, sometimes thinks they're too tough to actually, to open up to people. I was a lot worse when I was younger, but now I feel you when it comes to that, man. And I mean, you've even said that you've had to cancel, therapy appointments to try to talk to someone to have a conversation about it, and just stuck with writing music and trying to write things down.
Exactly, yeah. I just couldn't keep. I'm like, explain to me how you feel about this. And I'm like, you know what? I don't really want to talk right now about about my dad and everything. He's been gone for so long. Why do you want me to still bring this up?
Right.
And so I'm like, you know what? I don't need to talk to someone, so I just cancel it.
Right.
But I still encourage my kids, if they need to talk to someone, go do it.
Right.
Even though I should do the same thing, but I don't. But for me, my therapy is writing the music down.
Right.
So,
I mean, do you share that with them as well? I mean, do you tell them that's kind of a good method to get things out without being judged by other people? Because I think that's like a huge thing for people that you're more worried about being judged by your own thoughts. You know what I'm saying? It's not that you really want to hurt yourself, but you feel so fucking low sometimes that it's really hard to not to express it without going down that road of seeming like you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, sometimes I just sit in there just watching TV or with my kids and everything. I was just watching, and for some reason, things in my head go like, wow, if I did this, and I can do that. I'm like, why am I thinking like this? Mm-hmm. So then I was going to write some things down. I told my oldest, I'm like, if you ever need to do something, just write a journal down. Write things down, even though if you're not with your therapist right now, write it down. And he's done that, and he's like, Dad, I got a lot here. I'm like, well, is it helping you? He goes, yeah. Well, there you go. Whatever helps you, go for it.
Now, when it comes to writing down your thoughts, how do you get them into a song form? Do you pick and choose some of the things do you write down, or are there things that come out poetic? Are there things that come out in a song form, or is it something that you go back and restructure things?
Well, I kind of restructure things, and sometimes I put the titles of the certain things I'm thinking about or whatever on a text file. Then I kind of look through them. I'm like, we can piece these two together and create this song because these are the same kind of feelings in a way. So so I put them, structure them that way. Yeah.
That's a fantastic idea, man. That's a fantastic thing, and a great motivator for other people too. You know what I mean? Like there is a method, man. Sometimes when it comes to writing songs, people want to think that it's all about poetry and about it has to be a structured way of putting things. A lot of times, getting your thoughts out and going back and picking through them, like you said. Because one day you may feel that way, and the next day, 2 months later. I mean, I've had, excerpts that are, just 4 lines of something that I've just, maybe heard a word that I just want to bounce around. You know what I mean? Like, this is how I'm feeling. Write it down, come back a month later and kind of put it together.
Oh, yes.
So many different ideas.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So when you get a chance to say sit down with Will or one of your musician friends, you do things a little differently than like a traditional band would. I mean, you write all these lyrics and have everything together. And do you allow the musicians that you jam with just free range to do what they want, or do you kind of give them direction when it comes to?
Well, in the beginning, I was usually say, hey, you know what? I like these songs. Like a good feel. Like this one's Desire, like Love Is and Suicide. That's the song I really love. And I send them some links to the YouTube channels of some of the bands I like. But I'm like, you know what? But also be creative. Use your creativity to figure these things out. Like if you want, hey, this would be great if we do it this way.
Yeah.
Do it. I want to hear it. I'm not going to say, nope, you can't do this. I'm one of those guys who it has to be my way or whatever. Yeah. No, be creative. Have fun with it.
I like how you think there too. You know what I mean? Because there's so many times where you can. It's like reading a book. I'll put it like this.
Yeah.
When you think about people looking at religion, and this has nothing to do with what we're talking. I'm just using this as a structure. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
You hear about certain sects of religion that actually read the same book but have different interpretations. When you can write down lyrics and maybe show it to another musician and say, hey, this is what we're going with, this is what I wrote for this particular song, but these are the bands, and you lay the bands out. And I've often done this myself with musicians I've jammed with.
Yeah.
Say, this is what I'm hearing here and a little bit of this here. And through the middle of it, I want to end up right here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
And then allowing them to, add their spices into the sauce. You know what I mean?
It makes it good. And some people are like, well, this is not a typical funeral doom or whatever. I'm like, that's good. What's wrong with having something a little bit, some varieties of it, Like, well, there's not much of this spoken word thing. Like, so, your point?
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to talk like this in front of everyone.
Yeah.
Hey, I like to, sometimes it can stir emotions.
Yeah.
Someone hear Peter Steele with some of his low singing, talking like this. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, dude, I'm a man and he's a man, but watch out, man.
Get you worked up, man. Get you worked up.
A little spicy, no?
Yeah. Let me see here. C. Smith 73 says, "I'm here for you if you ever need an ear. I will PM you." Appreciate that, and I think we would both appreciate that,
really
man. Everybody,
great.
everybody says that, and not a lot of people come through on that shit. I'll tell you what. And I know a lot of people. Here's the thing: is I feel if you're in a tough spot and you do have good friends, man, use them, talk to them. Get it out, and make sure you find those ones that aren't the judgy type or the people to go put your shit on Facebook, man. That's a big thing, man. That's that betrayal of you telling someone something in confidence and it ending up in someone else's mouth and them telling you like, oh well, so and so said this and da 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 da, and you're like, yeah, you fucker.
Like stop screenshotting our conversation and posting it to everyone.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Do we need this? I don't think so.
Yeah. What are we, 12?
Yes.
Oh, Steve, you can't call during the show, buddy. We're live on the Facebook. We'll get it'll mess up our video here. See here, Adam says it takes great strength, wisdom, and courage to self-reflect and to open up to people you trust. Mr. John, powerful. This is going to be a great conversation. Thanks, Adam. Now, Adam's an avid listener and watcher and interactor in this podcast. This style of podcast. Now, we did a podcast back a few years ago that was more music oriented. With this style and coming back to do this stuff, I decided to go with the video stuff, which it's kind of a drag because the premise of the podcast was all about music before, and now it's more about the conversation. And
nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
No.
Now, Adam and his wife Danielle have been people that'll come in and ask questions, and they're always really good questions, or they chime in for something and make it more fun. So I always keep the chat room open for Adam's questions, and he's always great. I can't wait to have him on. I've got him coming up in June, and he's been on a couple different podcasts through in the Twin Cities too. So it's good to see his band Forever in Gray and himself getting out there and doing things.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great, man.
Hell yeah. So let's talk about some of the projects you got going on, because there's like what, 4 or 5 of them now?
There's about 4, but there might be another one in the works, but we'll stay with 4 for now.
So this is actually the project that you gave me, the Solemn Echoes. Is
That's
what
correct,
it is?
Solemn Echoes.
And Into the Depths of Sorrow. And how many songs here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 songs.
That is
on
correct.
This one.
Basically, intro and an outro. They're just basic stuff like that. But with Jeff, if you're listening, you did a great job. We love it. But there's other tracks on there. There's that Fabio from Helllight created, and he did an amazing job. Oh my gosh!
And Aaron Lanick plays on this one as well.
Oh, Aaron, yes.
And then Jeff, he plays in Promodol, correct?
That is correct.
As
yes.
well? Okay. And then you have what does it say? Alexander. Sorry.
Alexander.
Sorry, man. I didn't mean to call you a lady. And he's playing bass, and then Fabio's playing guitar. Now, where did you meet these cats?
Well, online. I was just he really enjoyed my first album, Chill Suffering For You I Die, and he was like, "Well, I really enjoyed this." And I was talking to him too. I'm like, "You know what? I really enjoyed Helllight. It was pretty awesome." And so I bought some of his stuff, and then we were talking back and forth, and we just became good friends from there.
Right.
It's like, this is really cool, because he's like, "You know what? I think we should do something together." I'm like, "You know what? That is a good idea. Let's do that."
That's fantastic, man. When we've got fantastic, musicians that want to join you on these projects, man.
Oh, yes. He's like, "But John, you realize that when I come to North America, we got to do some shows."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Fine,
Yeah.
we'll do something."
Right. So how did this project get started? Now, Chalice of Suffering was pretty much your baby.
Yes, that's correct.
And then with that, and now for those of you guys who haven't had a chance to watch our past podcast, now John's been part of this music scene for a really long time. You did a lot of booking, you did a lot of show promotions, you did a lot of stuff for many years. You worked with Don Decker quite a bit.
Oh, yes.
And you had part of the Star Bar too. You did a lot of shows up there too.
That is
right?
correct. That is
And
correct.
so I mean, you've been around, man. You've done this now with Chalice of Suffering. I know this. It was all you. That was all your stuff. In bringing in guys like Will Maravellis and Aaron Lanick played on that as well, right?
Yes.
And then Neil Pruitt also played on some of that stuff.
He played on the second release.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
So you have heavy fucking hitters from the Twin Cities coming in and playing on some of that stuff, and clearly you're making connections with that particular, those albums and stuff. Now you've always had your hands in talking to record labels and talking to distro and doing all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Now that's got to be pretty tough, like managing all of that stuff all at the same time and still trying to do projects and starting new projects and shopping those to different labels too.
Oh yes, it is kind of time consuming, but the thing is, a lot of the stuff I kind of do too is at night. A lot of times is when the kids go to bed.
Yeah,
that's when I'm like, all right, you know what? I had my time. Now let's do this. Now I like to do this, and I like to help out bands too. And they're like, Well, as you said, they had a certain press kit, and I look at it. I'm like, is there a way if I give you some pointers? No, I'm okay with that. Like, well, how much is this going to charge? I'm like, nothing.
Yeah.
I like to help you guys out.
Right.
So I'm going to help out with some of the press kits and send them out to magazines to get reviews and everything.
Now,
so.
what were some of the how did you get hip to the whole press kit thing? Because I know that can be a really difficult thing.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
What are some of the like hints that you would tell someone to up their press kit game?
Well, what I usually say is when you send out music, even if it's a few songs, do your best songs first.
Right.
Like the best song. This is the one I really love. We play great live. Put that one on first to have them listen to it, even if it's a few songs.
The catchy one, the one that
right away. And because when I was used to reading these press kits and listening to stuff, I'm like, this is kind of boring. It's kind of if it's like a long intro. No,
they're not going to listen that long.
Yeah. Then maybe later be like, you know what, this was actually pretty good, but they shouldn't have started off with something very slow.
Sorry, Jeff.
Intro.
Sorry, Jeff. I know you're the master of the intros and in the ambient sound and stuff, but I know what you mean by that.
Yeah. But it all depends on which label you're going after.
Sure.
If it's an ambient label, then go ahead, do that. But if you're going for straight up power metal or death metal or whatever, get those things out right away. Something that's really catchy.
So come out the gate.
Oh yes, because the first 30 seconds, or even less, then hey, and make sure you get something catchy too. So
yeah. Now with I know back in the day a lot of bands that I talked to, they did the 8x10. They kept a photo in that press kit.
Mm-hmm.
There was always some sort of merchandise, where it be buttons, or I've heard of bands from radio stations that talked about bands that would send stuff with like candy with their band logos mixed on it, because
cool.
They would take it out and they, you know what I mean? They'd set it. Oh, they got gum here. You're sitting there fucking around.
If they send out the hard copies, then do something like that might catch their eye.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing this one label was like, some band sent us something with dirt in it in the package. Like, what? He's like, yeah, it's sent with dirt in it, but he says he just kept him in his mind. He's like, so he got, you know what? I'm actually going to listen to this. So he brought out his old tape player because he sent him a tape.
Yeah.
And he says it was pretty interesting to hear, but they sent him something with dirt.
All right, Tony Lentz says John Suffering has some of the coolest packaging I've ever seen. As far as physical copies, I will get them. He said. Andrew says play some Megadeth. Oh my God, I got myself in the whole Megadeth thing today.
Yeah, Mr. Spanks a lot. Yeah. That's his new rap. Name is Sir Spanks a lot.
Sir Spanks a lot.
That's right.
Yeah. What's up, Kyle? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate it. I love when people just pop in and say, "What's up, big dog?" Let me see here. Adam says, "Mr. John, how was your experience working with Mr. Will from 1459 Studios?"
Oh, he's number one class, man. He's a great guy. Very smart. He knows what he's doing. A lot of creativity flowing through this guy.
Yeah. That is one of those things that is beneficial to anybody working in a studio, is when you're a creative guy anyways. And I think that Will is one of those guys that maybe a band can benefit in any facet of it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because he's just, and he loves all types of music too, Oh
yeah.
That's one of the things I miss that he was doing like a year or 2 years ago, where he would review the albums.
Yeah.
He would go through like a band's full catalog and kind of go from album to album and kind of critique them. I love that shit. Will is fantastic at that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I have not had a chance to work with Will in that capacity. He wanted us to come in there and record with him, and I regret not doing it, because Will's such a great guy.
When I first started recording with him, I was very nervous doing it too. And the microphone, I'm like, oh my gosh, here I go. Oh, getting all sweaty and nervous. I'm like, oh geez, he's like, don't worry, just relax. He's giving me some pointers, and I still do it nowadays. Yeah. So I'm thinking about it, like, you know what? This is how you said to do. Okay, I'm going to do that. Perfect. Then I told him, like, man, you can really polish a turd, man. Thank you.
Yeah, but dude, the way that those Suffering albums came out, though, man, they're solid albums, dude. They're good, heavy shit, man. And that's the thing, when you have somebody that can make you comfortable, when you've never, you know what I mean? You've never been in front of large crowds or anything like that. So being in the studio has got to be super fucking intimidating to just
It was very.
to be with the caliber of musicians that you pulled in too, man. That's pretty fucking amazing.
Very excited.
Yeah, for sure. So I would say, Adam, that his experience was fantastic.
I agree.
Now going back to Will, is it just something, a loyalty and just pure enjoyment of working with Will?
It is. I enjoy working with him. It's loyalty too as well.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, well, he's in my band, so I should not be paying for the studio time. No, come on, really?
Right.
No, I'm going to pay him.
Yeah.
In chump change, but that's all.
Well, I'm sure that he would love to be playing out. Melissa says so much love for Will Maravellis. Absolutely, Melissa's plays in his band, so that's fantastic. She knows how great he is.
Oh yes.
Brandon Coleman says suffering is a legend. Thanks for joining us, buddy. I appreciate it, man. I'm very sorry to hear about your grandmother passing away too, man. Condolences. Yeah. Yep. Condolences to you and your family, man. I know it's a very difficult thing to get to move on from. And I know how tough that can be. I've lost my grandma several years ago, but it's very tough, especially after having like young kids after they pass, you know what I mean? And you think, man, my grandma would have loved you. You know what I mean? I've said that to my daughter on Mother's Day too. I was just like, grandma would have loved you.
Oh yeah. I told my daughter that too. I'm like, my grandmother would do something like this, and she's like, you're just like her. You'd belch out on people like, rah, 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 and she's saying all these smart ass remarks. I'm like, that's my grandmother for you. Yeah. Ah, these damn old people driving. What's wrong with them?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And she was like, in her late 80s, she was saying a lot. Those damn old people.
Slain Angel says, I'm guilty as fuck of the long drawn out intro bullshit. Hi, guys. Hey, what's going on? Let me see here. Mr. John, what bands would you want to play with when shows open up in the cities?
Well, there's quite a bit, actually. Myself, one of my personal favorites is the band called Desire from Portugal. I just love them. And some other bands would be like Shape of Despair, Evoken, even Loss. Just like amazing stuff.
Dude, every time I talk to you, you always pull out some of the most obscure things that I've never, ever heard of. This is a cat. John has always been one of those guys that has his hands in the underground so damn deep, dude. I'm surprised you don't have dirt underneath your fingernails. You're that deep in there.
I had to wash my hands this time, so...
Hefe, what's happening, buddy? Good to have you joining us, man. I appreciate it so much. Everybody who's joining, I think there's like a few people here watching, 6 people in the chat on Facebook. Thank you all for watching so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. And then we have several people watching us on YouTube, which I don't have that thread pulled up right now, but that's okay. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now let's. So you've got. All kinds of different things coming up. Now is this release something that you had prepared since 2019, you said?
Yes, we had it completed in 2019. Then we signed up with another label because it finally got mixed and mastered and everything else. I think it was like last early spring, winter of last year. And then it was been on the shelf for a while because, a label, which is, things happen. So no hard feelings for that guy. He's like, because I think he overbooked himself, which he told me he did, which is understandable. I'm not no hard feelings with the guy.
Yeah.
And he told me, like, you know what? I asked him, do you want me to look for someone else? Because I understand you're swamped. There's no hard feelings here. He goes, like, if you can, that'd be great. I'm like, okay, no problem. Even though we signed something, agreement, I'll do that for you.
I want my money back. Oh, wait, never mind.
And so then I'm like, all right, I'll send out some emails out because I know a couple of labels that wanted us after we signed up with this other label. And I was like, all right, see who would take a bite out of it. And, of course, all of them did. But the first one was Endless Winter Records. Mm-hmm. And they're from Russia and only doom, as they say. And so we signed up with them. And this guy was passionate, and he did a great job. I did the designing of the layout and everything else. And
right.
Trying to get his opinion on it, and so he did a CD, and he also did a digipack of it, and to me it's just amazing. So we just got the package earlier this week, actually. So So you're one of the first ones that gave it to.
Oh, fantastic, man. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, myself, and then it was the first one is actually Aaron, of course.
Yeah.
Because we were in a scout thing together. So,
Right.
so I gave him his copies, and then I'm like, well, since I'm going to be here on Friday, I'll send it to you. So,
Right.
so I give it to you.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate it very much. Let me see here. We've got Tony. Which one are you saying? Which website? Whose website is going to be up and running? I don't know which one you're talking about. Crystal, thanks for joining us. So with this one now, signing to a Russian label.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how does that work when you have an overseas label, or even when you sign with a label that's not here in the state you are and fucking in California, for fuck's sake? Like, how does that work? How do you? I know back in the day, sometimes labels would look for bands, and they would, you would obviously be shopping your demos or sending them out to different places. What do they offer you when you have? It's got to be completely different than what it was back in the day.
Well, a lot of these new labels now, some will pay for duplication, which is fine as long as they have a far outreach.
Yeah.
That I'm looking for, which is
Yeah.
fine, and they can pay for the duplication. Great. And some labels will pay for their other merchandise, like shirts and shot glasses or whatever like that.
Sure.
Banners or something. So it all depends.
Now, can you give them ideas? Say you stumble across a band that comes up with a fantastic idea, and you say, "Hey, how's it going? This is John from whatever. I got this great idea. Can I send you over an email and kind of give you an idea what I'm thinking? Is there something that you would want to do? Can you do that with those labels?
Yeah, it depends on if they're open to it. And other ones are kind of like, well, no, this is how we do it. And
Sure.
other ones are open, which is fine.
So now, if they offer you like a duplication and you get something that has this quality, you know what I'm saying? I suppose when they send it over and you have it in your hand and you pull it out of the package and it looks this good, you're like, fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, I was that way. I was like, oh, did I do a good job with the layouts and stuff like that?
Right.
But of course, it better be good because I paid enough for that cover.
Right. Who did the artwork on this cover?
Adam Burke.
Oh, nice.
He did a great job as an oil painting.
Oh, nice.
So yes, it was very good.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Yeah, this is very cool. It's the same. The cover is on the front of this too.
Oh,
which is really cool. So now are all your projects signed to different labels, or do you have?
They're different labels.
Nice.
This one's Endless Winter Records,
Mm-hmm.
and for Chalice, the Suffering is Transcending Obscurity Records. They're from India.
Okay.
This guy puts out great packages. Oh my gosh, these box sets are amazing. And then one of my other Doom projects is like a Paradise Lost. It's called Forever Falling.
Uh-huh.
They're from MSH Music Group.
Okay.
There's basically Morning Star or something like that records.
Okay.
And they're from England.
Okay.
And this guy is doing an amazing job. He's shown some layouts for shirts and for the album and everything else. I'm like, this guy's a good guy. He's great with his advertisements.
Well, I mean, in Europe though, it's kind of like that weird thing that you get shirts from Europe. Have you ever gotten a concert shirt from Europe? And
Oh, this is a 2XL fit you. No, I'm a little bit chunky here, so.
yep. I saw a guy at the Milwaukee Metal Fest. He's always, I'm sure you've seen him before. Big Russian guy, big, tall, skinny guy, balding.
Yep.
And he's got fucking every band you can imagine. And he always comes with like 30 boxes of fucking shirts,
yeah, that
but
guy.
they're all Euro fucking shirts. So when you put them on, like I bought an obituary shirt. I'm looking at it. It's supposed to be 3X. And I got it on. It was a fucking mini fucking shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Then I was always ask him, do you have any fat American sizes, please?
Right.
No, I only go up to 2X. I'm like, seriously?
Yeah.
I just graduated to a little bit higher level than that.
Right, exactly. Not since I was in high school.
Yeah, there you go. That's it, yeah.
Come back, change the question. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad that it came back. Did you go to my website, or did you go to Facebook, or did you go? I don't even know what's going on here. One of the viewers said that his deal went off. It went blank. The screen went blank. So let me see here. Adam says heavy questions. So brace yourself. Also, not trying to be offensive. Please forgive me if the question comes across as such. Mr. John, how dark are your thoughts? How dark do your thoughts get?
Oh, they get really dark. There sometimes when I'm just sitting down and something bad happens the day, and that was actually a couple weeks ago. I really haven't told anyone. This one job, and they said, you're outdated.
Wow.
Like, we're talking about me or talking about the skills? We're talking about me. And
Like
I'm
personally? Like you
yeah.
don't even fucking know me. Go fuck yourself.
Exactly. They're like, well, you don't have much experience doing this. I'm like, I have 24 years of IT. Do the front and back end of all these things.
Right.
I don't have that experience?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So that was basically all in the same week. And sometimes I just sit there and I'm like thinking some really bad stuff.
Yeah.
It's just something gets really dark. I'm like, I can really just hang myself with barbed wire and I'll be like cutting myself. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I think about it, I'm like, I can't do that. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I hear my kids. I'm like, okay, I better, So I just get my memories and thoughts straightened out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So because a lot of on the weekends they help me out and my kids and stuff, so they keep me busy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm
I've seen you, in several different stores, man. We bump into each other. It's got to be 10 times we bumped into each other.
Oh, yes.
I've seen your kids grow. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
my
like
gosh.
from the last time I see them, they're like this big, and then they're fucking huge. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Dude, Adam says, because I've struggled with thoughts of suicide since I was 14 years old. 34 now. Just wanted to hear what you do to pull out of it. Writing music is always awesome, but it's what else do you do to pull out of it?
Well, I do that, and then from there, I have found some people who I can actually do reach out to if I need to. And I always say this to people, even the ones who are listening now, if you ever need to talk to someone or whatever, PM me, even if you're not on my friends list or whatever, message me. I'm one of those people who actually will respond back to you or even message you back and saying, I heard that you're having problems a couple of weeks ago. Are you still doing okay? You want to talk about it?
Right.
Just do that to me. Send me a message or whatever. But I do talk to some people and even listen to some sort of music, different music.
Right.
I listen to some classical guitar or even some stuff that's really just not really kind of weird to keep my mind going, oh, okay, this is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I listen to some old 80s pop. No big deal. All right, here you go. Some weird stuff.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right. So that's what I do to get myself going.
Man, that's fucking, it's a tough thing to this is a tough subject, Adam. I know how it is, man. I think we all have those days, and we all have the hardships, and we all have rough days at work. We all have rough days waking up and just thinking about all of the shit that we have to deal with as an adult. I remember being a kid and thinking, damn, I don't want to become an adult because of all the things you have to deal with. You know,
or
what I mean?
it will be so easy when I'm an adult.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'll take that back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess I was a kid that was privy to a lot of things I probably shouldn't when it came to finances and things like that, because my mom worked 2 and 3 jobs just to keep us going. And, I was an only child. But it was like really, really difficult, man, when you didn't have a parent to like push you in the proper direction a lot of times, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and we spoke about the drugs and alcohol thing. I mean, addiction and abuse was kind of a mainstay in my family, not just my home, you know what I mean? Because my mom dated, different fellas, and alcohol was always a factor, and then there was arguments and shit getting broken, and there's a lot of rough times, man. And I know we talked about some stuff off of air when it came to being young and having a loss or not having a father, and being a man and like being angry. And like eventually you start to take that out on other classmates or peers that you go through, and luckily we both survived all of that, and either being bullied or tormented in some way, or being the bully in some way, shape, or form, which I can humbly say that I've been both.
Yeah, same here.
It's unfortunate, and I know, like, having kids, man, it's really difficult to try to make sense of it for your children, because it's really difficult as adults for us to deal with the shit. And then you don't want to let them know exactly how hard it is for you to wake up and deal with the world.
Exactly. And as I was telling my kids about a couple of years ago, they're like, and my son was having issues with a bully in school, and he was like, I'm like, just do it like this. The bullies will, just make sure you do this and this. He's like, how would you know that they will stop this? And I'm like, well, because I know. Mm-hmm. My daughter's like, yeah, Dad, how would you know? They kept on asking me this. So I'm like, oh, boy. I'm like, okay. Well, because I was a bully. Oh, Dad, how would you do that? I'm like, I said, yes, this is how, I regret it. Yeah. But, so this is how you would work around it, much as you can.
Did you ever have any person or people that you had those interactions with that turned out to be a good friend of yours?
No, not really good friends, but just basically we can walk by each other and say hi. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they don't live around the area anymore or whatever. So I grew up in this area in Blaine, Blaine, Coon Rapids. So I've been around here almost the whole time. They probably moved out somewhere else.
Sure.
But when they were in college and stuff, when I see them around the area, then I talk to them and say, hey, this is the reasons, I'm so sorry for what I've done.
Yeah.
I was a real jerk then,
Yeah.
So I'm like, imagine if I didn't say anything to them or whatever, and like, would have made their lives a little bit different? Would they be happier in certain spots? Because I was hurting inside, big time. So after the loss of my dad, I was like being mean to everyone who had a father. It was keep on saying, my dad, we're going fishing.
Well, I mean, you said it when we were talking off air too, and I feel exactly the sentiment that you said. It was like you wanted other people to feel as bad as you did at that time.
Exactly, because they're basically jealous. Because when people especially bring up the fishing part, because my dad did that every weekend during the summer.
Yeah.
Like, all right, Saturday we're gonna go fishing now. It's 4 a.m. Wake up, you. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why do you like doing this to us?
Yeah.
But now as a father, and you're like, I can tell why.
Yeah.
Because you're bringing the memories.
Yeah.
And they love it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, there we go.
Stability.
Oh, most definitely.
It's crazy, man. It's very very tough to express those things to a child. And like, I had a conversation with my daughter about talking to people on the internet. Because it seems like these days, and I fall into this situation as well with the podcast and everything, and like moving this thing to YouTube and doing all this stuff. It's like you focus in on all the likes and like trying to do something that captivates people to continue watching, because you'll have 6 people watching, and then it'll go down to 3, and then it'll go down to 2, and then after you're done with it, you know that it's out there, and you post it, and you want to repost it, and people will interact with it, but you get sucked into that like thing, and like how it's so important for children these days. My daughter made a comment on an Exorcist post, and she made a silly comment because she has great comedic timing. You know what I mean? She's just a clown, and she thrives off of it so much. But I was explaining to her how the age gap between her and her sister are 8 years. Okay. And I asked her, and this is going to come out weird because I'm expressing it to her, and I'm not trying to call my middle daughter a dumbass, but I was like, how many years are between you and Sissy? And she said, well, 8 years. And I said, well, do you think that your sister's made the best choices, like taking care of herself? Both of my younger girls have epilepsy, so it's very difficult. Yeah. But being a young adult, you think that you're impervious to this shit, and that they don't really understand that it's a physical thing, and that you can't just choose to not take your medication because you'll have a fucking seizure and you'll end up on the side of the road with somebody sometime, you know what I mean? Or like next to your friend, they've never dealt with it before, they're freaking out, they're calling the ambulance, people are coming, you know what I mean? People will take advantage of that.
Almost definitely. So
I was explaining to her about how the internet can be so dangerous, you know what I mean? And I hate doing it, but you want to tell them, like, hey man, this is real deal shit, and like I was talking to her about one of my good friends, and like, you look at us and what do you see? And my daughter said, well, you're genuinely a really nice guy. And I said, you see that part of me, but what do you think other people see when they see me? And she goes, well, you look pretty, you're a big guy, when people see a big guy, they some are intimidated. Some people are like, oh, kick that dude's ass. Some people are just like, oh, whatever, no big deal, right? I said, yeah, but we've done a lot of crazy things in our lives. I said, you're 14, she's 22. Do you know anybody in your 30s or in their 30s? And she said, no. And I said, well, you know me, and I'm in my 40s, right? I said, what do you think that the experience levels between those 20 years, because being young, you always think you know everything.
Oh, almost definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Like you can navigate through all of the bullshit in life, especially these days with the internet and with, people are just tricksters, man. They'll come and try to take advantage of you at every aspect, especially in the music business, especially if they can cut corners with you and get profits off of what your hard work, your labor, the fruits of your labor. They'll take advantage of that shit. So expressing to her how, I may have done some unsavory things in my life.
Oh, yes. Yep. Thank goodness they didn't videotape a lot of my stuff,
yeah.
so there.
Yeah, we were kind of lucky on that to
Exactly.
where phones weren't readily available,
Oh, yes.
like unfortunate Dave Ellefson situation. And it's a tough conversation, man, to tell them, I've been through a lot of stuff, and explaining them like, hey, look at Uncle so-and-so and look at me. Do you think that we've been, we're tough guys because we were made to be that way? You know what I mean? We were forced to be that way, growing up in the inner city, or losing a parent, or not having a parent, or, having some sort of sexual abuse, having some sort of abuse. And unfortunately, young females put themselves in situations, or they're with people who want to take advantage of them, and they just don't, hey, they want to believe in the best of humanity, but it seems like, a pretty girl and a roofie comes around the corner pretty fucking quick. You know what I'm saying? A guy like Bill Cosby, where you would think would, be this wholesome cat who had this family show on, and turns out that this guy's been drugging people for years and years and years and got away with it because he was famous. I mean, it's been in the news for, Jeffrey Epstein and all of that bullshit. You know what I mean? It's a tough fucking conversation to have with a damn kid, is what I'm trying to say.
It is, yeah. And my daughter, I'm like, you're not having a Facebook page for a while.
Yeah.
And my son, he has one, but the thing is, he's like, I really don't care about putting photos and stuff. I'm like, you don't have to.
Right.
And I have a
Snapchat, TikTok, all that shit, though. They've all got it now.
Yeah, my daughter has some of those things. I'm like, I need to see these things. She's like, oh, Dad.
Why?
Yes.
Why? I'm not doing anything. Why? Put it on private. Why? I'm not going to get 37 likes from 4 of my friends. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes. And they were like, you don't put any of your pictures on Facebook, right? I'm like, no, I don't. You mean people are like, are you proud of your kids? Why don't you put anything on there? I'm like, yeah, because I am proud. That's why I'm not doing it.
Right.
Some people do it. I'm like, I'm fine. If you want to do it, go ahead. Myself is like, I know what some people do. Some of the, I can just screen. This website, you can they disabled the left click thing. Right. You can save picture. Well, yeah, but did they disable the screen capture? No.
Right. Right.
So people do it. That's fine. But myself, I'm really paranoid.
Yeah.
That's the way I am. So.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm overly paranoid because I've seen people take advantage of people in person, man. You
have a goofy photo online, then someone will create a meme out of it. You're like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes it's all fine and dandy.
Yeah, sometimes I wouldn't care, but sometimes I'm seeing, I'm like, really? That's gonna haunt you maybe in about 10 years.
Yeah. I've told dudes that I work with, they're fucking construction guys, and I'm like, okay, well, you just open a can of worms if you become my friend, just so you know. I've got a lot of fucking goofy friends.
Oh, yes.
See here, Adam says, this conversation is so dope. I'm loving it. Thank you, dude. Let's see, Mr. John, could you give pointers on how to deal with a toxic person criticizing your music?
Well, in the beginning, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, they all hate it. Well, the thing is, if they are criticizing it or whatever, in a way, they're getting your music out there. So any publicity is good, no matter if they hate it or not.
Right.
And in the beginning, I was kind of like really paranoid of it. I'm like, this person's going to hate it. And a few did, yeah. Now I'm like, who cares?
Right.
If they're saying it, they reviewed it. I mean, it's out there, and people are going to take a listen for themselves.
Well, a lot of times, too, man, people will look at it and, hear a review and go, I better check this out just to see if this guy knows what the fuck he's talking about. Because a lot of
Exactly.
people want to gauge what these so-called review folks
Oh my
are
God.
doing. You know what I mean? Because I've seen movies, I've seen, I've heard music that people have totally shit on, and it just may catch you. You know?
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean?
This one guy gave this one movie, I think it was like a 1 star out of 5.
Yeah.
I'm like, no way Pauly Shore can do a really bad movie. So I you know what? I like things really stupid, and I liked it. So like Encino Man. I'm sorry. Reviewers are like, this is one of the worst things ever.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, Pauly Shore can't do no wrong.
Right. So now I'm going to refer back to Adam, and Adam's asked this on a couple different podcasts. Now, have you, as far as locally or in the stuff that you've done with music, have you had to deal with any kind of gatekeepers, people that won't allow you to flourish, but they kind of keep you at the gate and they won't let you go beyond that?
Well, I'm sure there is, but you just got to find ways around it. You just can't let someone stop you. You just got to do it. And for me, the one that usually is the gatekeeper is usually yourself.
Right.
And that's what took me forever to get something going.
Yeah.
Because I was a little nervous and scared what to do. And I think my biggest hurdle, which I wanted to get over, is doing live shows.
Yeah. Because you've never played a live show.
I never did.
But you have how many albums?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I think about 5. Yeah, so I think it's time. And I made a promise to my son, as I told you, that it's like, if you can do this, because he got scared of doing a show, singing a solo in front of people at his school, and he walked out of his room. He's like, I told him, you know what? If you do this, then I will do it too.
Right.
And he did
Now
it.
it's
I'm
recorded, dude. So
I know, and he reminds me. He reminds me every once in a while. I was like, Dad, are you going to do a show now? I'm like, well, this COVID thing's like, it's ending. You gonna do a show?
Yeah.
I'm like,
well,
fine.
here's the thing too that we were talking about this at before the show, and I was trying to tell John about I've been involved in the music scene for a really long time, and I was trying to explain to John how throughout the years it was still difficult for me, and I've played in a bunch of shows. You have been able to accumulate some of the best musicians in town, to do your projects. And you should always be able to rely on a band, especially seasoned veterans like the ones you have. And you should always go in thinking, man, these guys got my back because they are playing on your album. They helped you write these albums. These guys know this shit in and out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. And
So
they've
you
been
have a
asking me.
leg up. You have a leg up on some folks in the scene because a lot of them guys are first timers and they haven't been on stage either, but at the same time, they don't have seasoned veterans backing them. You know what I mean? A lot of times, maybe one of them is, and it's difficult. Now you've got guys like Hefe that have done stuff with Promadol and God, what was it? Devil Sex. He was in Devil Sex, and what other bands that you were in, Jeff? I hope he's still watching, but. You've got guys like that. Then you've got Will Maravellis, and then Aaron Lanick, who's a fucking beast of a
my
drummer,
gosh,
and
he's
such he's such a good human being too.
Oh, yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and he was my neighbor for a very long time when I didn't realize it.
Yeah, you guys are like right down the block from each other.
Yeah,
or some
we
shit, right?
yeah we were yeah. And then he's like,
I think I saw that conversation online.
Oh yeah, that
Oh,
was
you
a
guys
while
brought
back.
it up. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So so we're both scout leaders. So in the same.
Oh, that's
thing.
awesome.
Yeah, our youngest are both in it together, so we kind of work it with each other. So
Very cool.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
cool, man. Yeah. So I mean, it is. I think you should give it a shot, John. It's coming to the time, man. Now's the time, and dude, you've got the world waiting for you. You've got guys asking you to come do European tours. You know what I'm saying?
I did, but I turned them down. Some of them like maybe a little bit later because they call it because of my nerves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, Adam, what do you do to deal with your nervousness? Jeff, what do you do to deal with your nervousness on, when you get on stage? Give John some feedback on how you guys deal with the butterflies and shit before you get on. I was telling John that it's like kind of breaking the seal when it comes to doing it. It's usually like. The first couple songs, once you crack the shell on the thing, you're really on autopilot after that. I mean, you really rely on how Crystal says, "Ask a stripper." She just gets fucking butt naked and shakes her fucking money maker.
Well, I can do that. I can shake my money maker, and people will pay me to keep my clothes on. They're like, oh man, this. Oh my gosh, here, take it 100. Keep your clothes back on.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
I always said that too. If I was a prostitute, they'd be paying me to get off the fucking street. You know what I'm saying? So
we don't want to see that.
Yeah, come on, put your clothes on, fat boy. That's the deal.
You bought this gravy, don't you?
What is that? I don't think you're ready for this jelly.
Dude, I just love that one. I'm going to start saying that now.
Yeah, there you go. It's a fucking, I can't remember the guy's name. God damn it. It's the guy from Pineapple Express. The dude's going, "You can't handle my midriff." The big black dude, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
my
know
God.
you're talking about, yeah.
It's hilarious. "You can't handle my midriff."
Oh,
yeah, dude. And I was saying to John about, was the photo that we used for promotion on this thing. He's got the big spooky cloak on. And I've always wanted one of those things. I think that they'd be great to cover up,
Oh, yeah.
stage fright, because you could really pull that hood down and really, you just got your microphone. And, we were talking about like having, John having like an altar with things. I mean, I won't give away your theatrics, but I'll help him with the live theatrics. I'm pretty sure that I might have an idea about it. Yeah, no shit. You guys with the Promodol stuff.
Oh, most definitely.
Have that shit fucking cornered, man. You guys, I've got some fantastic photos of Jeff doing some just sick stuff. And that's what I was saying to John as well, is that I would paint my fingernails and my toenails and like have makeup on my face. And I've always felt like it was like a dirty thing for me. Like it made me perform better. I focused in on the dirtiness more so than I can imagine like Marilyn Manson and people like that, or Slipknot or Mushroomhead or, fucking Mudvayne for that. I mean, it's a lot of different things, or Mayhem, or, all the guys that, all the black metal bands that wear, the makeup and shit. I'm sure that's one of the ways that they just get that persona, man. They
different state of mind. And if I put makeup on, I probably look like Pretty Boy Floyd or the old Poison. I'm like, don't you look so gorgeous? And people are like, oh my gosh, you look so pretty. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this.
John, you're a big fella. I'm gonna guess that you're not gonna pull off Ricky Rocket by any means.
No, I can't. I'm sorry. Maybe Steve Summers, but that's all.
Let's see here. Adam says, Mr. John, how do you deal with how do I deal with my stage fright? I picture myself in our practice space, just doing just my band and myself jamming out, going hard. Also, another, God damn it, stop adding stuff to it. I'm trying to read, man. Let's see here. It says, also, another powerful thing is taking off his glasses since I'm blind. He can't see very good, so that's that. I bet you that would help really well too.
Probably.
How far can you see far away, or can you see?
I can see far away, but I'm still blind.
Yeah, up close. Is it?
Up close, I can see, but farther away, it's kind of like
blurry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing, dude. If you can't see like solid shit like way back here, man, that's a good deal, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, those first few rows are all you really see when the lights are beaming on you anyway.
Yeah.
Even going, okay, you fucker. I go even harder since I have.
I don't want to hear about you getting hard. Dude. What's up with that?
Adam gets really hard when he pictures himself with his band naked in their. Never mind. I'm sorry, Adam. You were my scapegoat on that one. He put me in an uncomfortable situation. See here. Picture. He said he goes even harder since he has that pictured in his head, focusing on the breakdowns and having a blast playing, having the music take control and live in that moment. Dude, I could not have said that you couldn't have said that any better, man. Letting the music take control. And that really is the thing too, man. And with how heartfelt that your lyrics are, and tapping in when you feel that music live, when the vibrations, I mean, cause like doing it in the studio and not playing live, cause that's how you guys did it. You tracked it from track to track.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So, with that feeling, man, it's like you can put it on the stereo or a pair of headphones and really crank it up and feel that vibe and really get it and like, yeah, this fucking feels great to me, and this, it all came together really great. But when you're on stage and you have that vibration, it's like a motor, you know what I mean? Like you start thinking about it, and you know that it's running on all cylinders and it's really going good, you know. Or when you rely on your motor to get past or out of a sticky situation traffic wise, you know what I'm saying? And you just hop on it and you can feel your car really kick you back to your seat, and then you're calm to go back down to the level that you're playing at.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're on stage and the vibration from everything, because you know, if you've ever heard anyone tune, or you've tuned, you know, you've played instruments before. You hit the note and it's wah 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 wah. It's that vibration.
Oh, yeah.
And then you go to the next string and the harmonics and everything come together and then wah 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 wah. And if it's auto to do that wah 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 wah, and as you tune it, it'll go whoa 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 into that hum.
Then you know, he's like, oh yeah, that's
that
the sweet
whole
spot.
fucking feeling when you're jamming with a band on stage and the fucking speakers are pounding at you, and that feeling, man, it is better than anything you'll ever feel. Well, almost anything. It's pretty fucking good.
Oh yeah.
My mind went to my friend Crystal here. She's talking about how she gets over her stripper nervousness. She's gonna laugh at me for saying that.
Yeah.
She said, "Dress up like Scuba Steve."
Oh, I can do that on stage. Sounds like a Mr. Bungle kind of moment.
Damn
there.
it, Scuba! Yep, the dinosaur suits with the little arms and shit and the big bouncy head. That's hilarious too.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, thank you guys for joining in with us on this thing. It's fantastic. So now, we talked about two of your projects: the Chalice of Blood or Chalice of Suffering. Yep. Sorry about that. I'm all forbidden and shit. I'm thinking Chalice of Blood. Woo. And then your Solemn X. Say it, John. I'm gonna
Solemn Echoes.
There you go. So we've talked about two of your projects. Now you have a couple more.
Yes, I do.
How did you get those going? What were
Well, my other projects, another one of them is Lassatory. It's a brutal death metal slam band.
Mm-hmm.
I like music of all styles.
Yeah.
You know, it comes from from the hard rock to the glam stuff, all the way up to some of the extreme, you know.
You like extreme.
Oh, yes. So gorgeous. I'm like, these guys, more than words, you know, like, then it gets me all hard.
Right.
Oh,
there you go.
You see it. Even like Gorgoroth and, you know, and a lot of these other good bands are just really intense stuff. Infinite Annihilator. Some of these band names are kind of like, really?
Yeah.
Okay, but the music is just really good. So I'm like, okay, I'll let you get by with it this time.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. I'm like, I really kind of like this stuff, and it's pretty fun, you know. And I also, you know, not just all depression me myself. I also have a lot of anger out there.
Yeah.
You know, and like, there's another good way to vent it out.
Yeah.
And then I was talking about some things myself, and I was talking to Jesse about it, and he's like, well, you know, Eric's a great drummer. I'm like, really? So I messaged him, and things came from there.
Right.
And then I like, okay, well, I put some feelers out there for guitarists and stuff like that, and I got a guy from New Zealand. He's a great guitar player. Mm-hmm. And another one from Spain. And this guy is great. This guy has so many bands. I thought I had bands.
Right.
Oh, my goodness gracious. This guy just can't get enough of. I'm like, I'm releasing another album. I'm like, really?
Damn.
Like, damn, man, what's up with that? He's really good.
Creative flowing, man.
Oh, yeah. He just loves
Sounds like another Rob Carlson. He's got like 300 bands. And
I heard that.
Pumping out all kinds of material, which is fantastic, man. If you could pull it off, why not? If you got that kind of creativity, man, let her rip, man.
And it took me a while to get things going on that, you know, just because I'm like practicing how I'm going to do these things. I'm like, oh, this one, I'll do this. I'm like, no, that's kind of I had Eric's like, you know what? Basically, in the way he was saying, you can do better than that, and what you're doing now is shit.
Right.
And so I was practicing it, and actually, like, you know what? This actually feels really good.
Yeah.
Once you get better at it and start feeling better about it yourself. And so I started recording from there.
Right.
On that. And so I was like, okay, well, we did just some good albums out there. We did 8 tracks. I think it was like 8 tracks. And started sending it out to different labels, and I got 2 offers right away. One from Coyote Records, that was from Russia. Another one was from Rotten Cemetery, which is in Mexico.
Nice.
And the one that can send things out, release it sooner, was Coyote Records, and so I went from there for that label. And you guys did an amazing job. And after this, I'll get another address from you, and then I'll send you another copy of that one.
Sweet. Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it, and so we're probably thinking about number 2 now.
Sweet.
And then my other project was Forever Falling.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're fans of Paradise Lost, and My Dying Bride, stuff like that, if you're into that more of a melodic doom in a way, and then that's the band Forever Falling.
Heavy as balls. Heavy shit.
Oh my gosh, it's so heavy. I just can't stand it. But
so I find it so awesome, dude, that at being a musician that hasn't played live shows, that you've created albums, you know what I mean? Multiple albums and material that, I mean, you're working on seconds and third albums coming out here, that so many bands, I hope, that have a chance to listen to this, like get an idea that that's not always about being your local hero. Like, get out there and fucking put your material out there. It's really about who you can attach to your music and in touch with your music, you know.
And don't just try to be stuck in your same scene. Like, oh, I'm trying to make friends with all my friends here in the scenes. You know, trying to get all these new people around this area.
Right.
Well, that's fine, but also branch out.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to talk to other people. I'm like, so I see that you signed with this label.
Right.
How did you do that?
Right.
You know, or whatever.
Yeah.
How did you do your press kit? How do you reach these people? Do you have a contact? Don't be afraid to say, do you have their contact someone I can get a hold of?
Yeah.
Or maybe put in a good word for me.
Right.
You know, do that.
Right.
You know? And that's how I basically did that in a way too. I put some feelers out there, and that's how I got a hold of some of these other people.
I know when I started doing this podcast, I started asking you about labels, and you sent me a shit ton of contacts for labels, man.
Oh, yeah.
A shit ton of A&R people and people that would be willing to, like, send me, you know, new releases and allow them to play on the podcast. I still have, I think you sent me Comatose people. I think you sent me there's a ton of underground shit you sent me. I know I have a list somewhere, and one of my computers has a list that you sent me. And it was like one of the main lists. You and Josh Runquist.
Oh, yeah.
He was, Josh and I don't talk anymore over some nonsense that happened in the music scene. And that's another thing that happens if you stay in a music scene for very long. If you rely on just this music scene to make or break your band, you're really pigeonholing yourself. You know what I mean? When you can branch out and possibly, you know, kick a door open that you never thought would be able to be open. Especially, you know what I mean, you're getting offers to do European tours and having to turn them down because you're not ready to do it. You know what I mean? Where, you know, some of these folks they're stuck here in the Twin Cities and not really branching out and getting out of this fucking state, man. Get out and play some other places. I mean, obviously with the pandemic going on and the tail end, it's going to be opening in the next year. And I mean, Crystal had it head on. His network is the biggest thing, and being positive and being fucking humble is really, really huge too, because your band may be awesome to you and may be awesome to all your friends and a few people that you've put it out there to. But with that being said, if you've got 10 people that like it and they're close to you, and another 10 people hear it, and another 10 people hear it, and then you shoot it across the pond, or you shoot it, you know, to another couple states, or, you know, network and making connections with people that you can swap shows with. And that's what we did back in the day is hook up with people in Des Moines, hook up with people, you know, in Omaha, and, you know, show trade. That's huge. And I know that you booked shows, tours that would come through, and you would get them dates to different places too. So
yeah, I like to help other people out with that. And, you know, as I say in my old booking days, you know, you got to learn from your mistakes, and I made quite a bit. Yeah. And sometimes you regret a lot of some of the mistakes you made, but if you keep on doing the same mistakes over and over again, then you're in the wrong area.
Right.
Stop.
Right. Or it's just not for you. That's kind of one of those.
I kind of figured that it wasn't really for me after a while. So I'm like, well, I had fun doing what I did.
Yeah.
You know, so then I'm going to put that on hold for a little bit. So stop it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's understandable, man. It's a tough thing it's intimidating to think about it. You know what I mean? A lot of people get caught up in their own things, and like you said, man, a lot of times we're our own gatekeepers. We beat ourselves up thinking that we're not good enough to do what we're doing. And I was telling John, with this, with not playing out and everything, I think it's and Adam, Adam doesn't know you from Adam, you know what I mean? But it's the fact that he connected with you on feeling low and connected with the conversation of turning that into a positive and playing shows and being able to get through the anxiety and the stage fright of being up there. And I thought, you and I talking off the air about the way you write and the way you put things down, I think is so detrimental to people who maybe are having a hard time writing, that it doesn't have to be a poem, that it doesn't have to be like this long drawn out like story thing.
Yeah. Doesn't have to rhyme either.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people fall into that thought process of hey, I'm not writing a song per se. I mean, if you look at, and I find myself do this a lot too. I mean, when I was younger, that's all I heard was the lyrics, and now it's really hard for me to just hear the lyrics because I hear all the other instruments going by being in a band and like having to key in on certain things, like, when you're singing or writing an album, you get through it and all of the instruments are recorded. Now you may have all those lyrics written, but putting them to that music is a whole nother fucking ball
another
game.
Monster, man. Sometimes I got sheet music, I'm at the studio and I'm thinking about it, I'm like, you know what, this doesn't work, so I might move things around or say, I'm not gonna say it this way, I'm gonna say it like this.
Yeah,
I've done plenty of that, especially with the Solemn Echoes one. I did that quite a bit.
now with some of your slower stuff too, I mean, do you find it more difficult to go with a faster pace groove, or do you like a slower groove? What is your preference on that?
Well, for me, if it's a really emotional part, I kind of like it slow in a way, because to me it really hits home sometimes. That's why I prefer it like that. But if it's faster, it depends on the certain spot too.
Right.
Say, hey, this will be great in this part. If we're building up to a certain emotion, they're going lower and then up deeper and higher and higher, higher.
Right.
And like that, you go, okay, I got my groove on.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. I think that's that's what I really connected having the conversation before we even started the podcast, because I know a lot of people struggle with that, myself included, when it comes to writing material.
Everyone struggled with it. Yeah.
I think it was like I could write stuff that really connected to me if it really had like a solid meaning from me, something that I wrote about, that really came from my heart. But there were a lot of times I know in the later Necroma stuff where I was really stretching it out by reading stories that weren't, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't a huge reader, but all of a sudden at one point I was in a situation where I just could not come up with any kind of ideas, and I just wanted pictures to be painted in my head,
Exactly, yeah.
And it was like the stuff that I was going through, the stuff that, you write about a lot is stuff you connect with, stuff that you're going through on a daily basis, the things that you have gone through, like losing a parent or just dealing with grief in any way. I know that I started to detach from that stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want everybody to know what I was going through at that particular time.
I totally get it. And I know I usually ask the guys, I'm like, if you guys have something you guys want to write, I'm open for that too. It can't all just be me. But if you want me to, I'll do it. But if you have something out there, go ahead. And Will did that for the last Miss Me But Let Me Go on Lost Eternally. That was for to his mother.
Right.
So I'm like, hey, it was good. So I had another guy from India. He did a lot of the deep, dark, heavy stuff, and I did some of my normal talking kind of a tone there, and I think it mixed really well together.
Dave Ellefson, stop touching your weenus. Sorry.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'll stop touching my nose. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get all gooey all over. I'm sorry.
See, you can't see that. Oh, wait, they can see your hand on the. Yeah.
sorry about that.
I was wondering what that smell was, Adam. You son of a never mind.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really connect with that, dude. I thought that's such a fantastic idea of writing things down and having that a good guideline for everyday functionality. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, because we all go through the tough shit, man. You know, I
most
mean,
definitely.
yeah,
And as I usually say, too, another way to get bands to get your name out there is when in the beginning too, I used to say, "Hey guys, check these other bands out. You know, this band's from a certain part of the U.S. or different parts overseas or whatever."
Dude, you sent me so much stuff, man.
I said, "Hey bands, check these guys out. Listen to link them on Facebook. Here's some of the bands," and then the guys in those bands will send you friend requests, and then they'll do it to your band. So it's a way of promoting your band out there and promoting theirs. So hey.
What was the band from Arizona that you did it with? That you did that with? You booked them here a couple times. You've given me something blood something.
Oh, Avenger of Blood.
Avenger Blood. Those cats.
Oh yeah, he's in Vegas.
What is Shannon was the
Shannon
dude's
Fry.
name. Right,
oh
right.
yeah,
cool dude.
Everything sucks, man. Oh yeah, love you, Shannon.
Yeah,
he's a great guy.
Yeah, he's a cool cat.
Oh
man.
yeah.
But that was a band that you rub elbows with quite a bit and booked them and brought them here. Yep. But that was something that you kept in contact with those cats. Oh, and like when they did they stop playing for a little while, didn't they?
They did, and Shannon has some sort of medical. I think he got into an accident or something like that, and he hurt his back really bad.
Right. And
I know that they're starting to record soon again. And this guy, he's a beast behind the kit too. He's amazing. And so, yeah, he wasn't one of those guys who did a lot of different bands.
Right.
In this one story, he told me about this. I'm not sure if you know the band Vengeance Rising.
Yes, I remember those guys.
Yeah, Mr. Preacher there.
Yeah.
Well, after he left Vengeance, he was total anti-everything now. It's like, fuck this, fuck that, those damn preachers, those motherfuckers preaching all that bullshit. I'm like, okay, cool. And Shannon's like, dude, man, he's doing his drummer for his new stuff. He wanted me to redo all of the Vengeance drums and everything else and reword everything. This guy is a mess, man.
That's hilarious, dude.
Oh, dude, it was so funny.
That's funny, man. Giving up the deets on all that shit, too.
Oh, he was telling me a lot of stories about some of these bands and some of these labels, too. And I'm like, okay. And if I hear any more, I might tell people more of these things, so I don't want to hear anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a little rough, man. Holy shit.
Just a bit,
Hell
it's not a Dave thing, but it's something a little bit different than that.
Yeah, what a mess with that whole deal, man.
Oh, man.
What
Come on.
you're in a prominent band, and from what I've heard and what this is the thing is I went on a tangent earlier today. I deleted it all because I actually did get kind of told who the fuck cares by a famous person that I'm friends with on Facebook. I've known him forever, and he knows Dave. I actually had a chance to record with Dave long time ago. My friend's band won a contest, and Dave Ellison came into town and actually worked at Orphan and engineered one of their albums.
Oh yeah,
and
I was there before. Yeah,
so I actually got to sing while he was in the booth and had him critique the shit out of me, and it was tough being a young guy and thinking that you're cooler than you really are, having a guy who's one of the big four sitting there telling you, hey dude, you're not doing very well, you know what I mean? So Dave Ellison to me has always been a really cool guy because he was very down to earth and very likable guy. Mm. So to hear something like that, and it was like it blindsided me this week because I didn't hear anything about it, and all of a sudden it's like this meme with the bass, and it looked like he was jerking it, and it just says nothing to see here, working on some bass lines,
or Metallica load.
Yeah, and it was I mean it's just kind of that's just crazy, man.
Man.
And
like, wow.
I don't know how these famous people don't have handlers. Like, hey, you want to meet Dave Ellison? Like, leave your phone outside. Come on in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
let him jerk off on your boobs or something. You know what I mean?
I'm like, come on, man. Really? Oh, online? Really, man? Come on, man. Jeez.
What's happening, Neil? How you doing, buddy? You know Neil, don't you? Neil Hintz, Nick Davis from the Metal Shop back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah, he just said, "What's happening?"
Yeah, what up, player?
What's up? Yeah, so I find it so crazy with all of that. Now, with these whole restrictions being lifted here, do you think what do you think our scene's going to do? Do you think it's going to come back? Do you think people are going to really appreciate shows now? Do you think people
I hope so because before this all happened, people were like, oh man, we should all go to these shows, and when you go to the shows, and there's not many people there.
Yeah.
Like, it's all talk that you're gonna go.
Yeah.
It happens, you know.
Yeah.
Like, usually it's like, well, I have like 300,000 fans on my liked my page.
Yeah.
Then how many? About 3,000 say they're gonna buy the album, and only like 300 buys it.
Yeah.
So
If
usually,
that.
if
Good
that,
shit.
yeah, that's if that. But that's usually what it was like. I'm like, come on, people, really?
Right.
Come on.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking
But I
crazy.
do hope that they do come back and come to these shows, and people go out there and support everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important,
So,
man.
it
And
is.
I know before this all happened, you know, there was a lot of cancel culture bullshit going on.
Oh,
and it's not bullshit, because there's a lot of things that need to be addressed, not only in this music scene, but all around. I know there's a lot of stuff, and we joke about the whole thing with Dave Ellefson, and we joke with, you know, the all the shenanigans that are going on with all these famous people these days. You know, you find out about these sex rings and all this crazy shit going on,
God,
and children being involved and women being taken advantage of, and things happening in the music scene here. And there's a lot of people going after people and, like, you know, finding out things that had happened in their past, things that you know, that and this was my question to a lot of people, like, where do people draw the line from your past to your present? Okay. So is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? Is it 3 years? Is it whenever the person actually learns from their mistake and actually makes amends on that?
I would say, you know what, once someone, even if it's like happened like 5 years ago, but the guy's still acting that way, then he hasn't learned from it.
Right.
But if they learn from it and they open and say, you know what, I was a real jerk. I was doing a lot of bad things in my past.
Right.
And, you know, I'm doing something to better myself or whatever, then it's time from there. Once they made it to it, then it should stop right there.
Right. And, you know, and
that's my point of view on that. But,
yeah, there's absolutely, you're absolutely right when it comes to that. I know that I've kind of been under fire with a lot of things when it comes to the NYDM and some of the people that I hang out with. I know that I have a specific friend that was part of my wedding, and he has some pretty loud opinions about certain things, and doesn't say the nicest of things, and sometimes racist, sometimes sexist, sometimes all over the fucking place.
Oh, yeah.
But as being a friend with this person that I've known for a really long time, you know, I've always stood by him as a friend.
Yeah.
Because I know him beyond what his persona on Facebook is, what his persona that he puts out to everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of people have come after me for being his friend, you know, and it's important to know that if I've never had a problem with someone, I'm never going to judge who they hang out with. You know what I mean? It's not my business to judge you for who you hang out with. So I would appreciate if people would, you know, back up off of that, because a lot of times, man, I'm not responsible for them. I can't tell them to shut up. You know, hey man, you're acting like an asshole, which I have done, and I've said, you know, dude, there's a certain way you should deal with things. Mm-hmm. And, you know, people got to understand, a lot of the folks that know me now know me from being a pretty nice guy around town. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people from my past know me from punching people in the fucking mouth for being stupid, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And there's a select few that know me for both and appreciate the fact that I've kind of mellowed the fuck out a lot, you know, and that I do lead when it comes to the NYDM, and I do try to set an example for people and actually, you know, camaraderie, brotherhood, friendship to people. I try to, you know, push people's bands along or try to help them. I try to do a lot of things that I wasn't able to do before with the bands because I was so focused on doing my own shit. But I think that it's very important, and you do this a lot yourself, and I've heard this in the conversation that we've had tonight, is that, you know, you enjoy helping people, and you know, giving people pointers on their promo packs and things like that, and offering to help with you know, shopping with labels and getting things out there for people. I think it's really important to go beyond yourself and not just focus on just you, because who knows, man, that this band that you may have pushed forward or help them in one sense or the other, they come across somebody that's like, hey, I'm looking for this particular band, and boom, your name comes up with the Chalice of Suffering or any of your projects, you know what I mean? And that kindness is paid forward again. And I don't know, I'm a firm believer. I think that when it comes to this whole cancel culture stuff, that I think there's a lot of stuff that needs to be addressed. I know that a lot of people need to shape themselves up and take accountability for their addictions and the bullshit and the harm that they cause or they threaten to other people, and that includes my friends and the people that watch this show and know who my friends are and who I'm talking about. As a matter of fact, I don't condone or condemn, I guess. I'm not here to judge people. I judge them on who the fuck they are and not, what they say to other people or how they talk to other people. It's not my fucking business. I can't be that person
Totally get it, man.
to babysit everyone. You know what I'm saying? But I hope that people out there, when this all opens up, that they will be considerate of each other, and I hope that everybody will make a safe space for everybody to come and enjoy music again, and actually go to shows and actually partake in the shows and actually buy merchandise. And through this whole COVID thing, if you haven't had a chance to check out more bands, to check out some of John's bands, to check out some of the local bands that are probably struggling to keep their stuff together. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of bands that kind of fell apart during this whole thing, and we don't really know exactly who made it and who didn't.
Support the underground, man.
Yeah, for sure. That's what it's all about. I mean, this is where we're coming from, man.
Exactly,
I was saying John really does know a lot about the underground and a lot about working with record labels and hit him up. Ask John some questions. If you've got some questions here, hit him up again. Let us know what you're saying. Let me see here. Adam says again here, Mr. John, if you need a band to play a show with please keep my band in mind. We would be it would be an honor to share the stage with you. Adam's good people, dude.
That's awesome, man. Thank you.
Let me see here, Mr. Gregg. Your loyalty is truly inspiring. Loyalty, it's truly priceless. Really freaking dope, Mr. Gregg. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it very much, Mr. John. The fact that you help bands out and giving them direction, sir, it is truly awesome. Really, really inspiring and giving out wisdom. I commend you. Good sir.
Thank you on that. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. It's really important, man. And Adam, you fall in the category as well, dude. You've been a loyal follower of the podcast. You've been on this podcast, and you continue to come back and make the show interesting. You and your wife talking and interacting with the guests, man. And I really appreciate that too, because there sometimes it is difficult to keep. I guess I'm pretty good at keeping the flow of things going, but it's always nice to get out of my head to you know what I mean?
That's a good thing.
To have other people chime in on it, and that's one of the aspects that I really enjoy about this medium, being on Facebook Live and being on YouTube. It's so much different than just doing a podcast, listening to a few tunes. It kind of breaks up the monotony when you're doing the music and everything like that. Oh,
yes, most definitely.
And it's, so this stuff is all licensed too, right? So if I played this on YouTube, do you think they'd take me down or what?
They shouldn't.
Okay. Okay.
Because I'm okay with that,
Right.
And I think, I posted some stuff on there, so it should be fine. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm not going to be one of those people like, you have my stuff up there, please don't do this.
Right.
I'm sorry, but you can't.
Right.
I'm not one of those people who
like
that. Because one time I put something up on Facebook, not on Facebook, but on YouTube. I think it was like 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
It was from a hair band from here in Minnesota called, I think it was Brass Kitten.
Yeah.
They had a song, and I realized this was pretty catchy, so I put it up there about 7-8 years ago. I think it was like last year. The guy who's re-releasing it from a different label just automatically flagged me right away. I'm like, you just decided to re-release this, and you reflagged me. You just message me and say, please take this down.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. Yes, I like the hair stuff. I love it. Because since I don't have hair, I love it even more.
Yeah, dude. I just don't understand people like that, man. You know what I mean? Like,
I say share it. Enjoy it, man.
I don't understand fucking YouTube or any fucking medium for that matter. You know what I mean? Like, the only stipulation that I would say is, like, you got to include the links to where you picked it up. Like, if band, like if you if you bought it at the show, okay, then you say, okay, I bought this at www. the fucking band's name dot wherever, right?
Yeah.
Go to their merch stuff. Make sure you purchase this album. You know what I mean? You're
Put a link up there.
Yeah, you're promoting this
Come
shit.
on.
Like, I don't know why record labels would be pissed about that. Like, you're not bootlegging this shit. You're doing like one song,
Yeah,
and you want, you know.
If you're not making money off of it,
Yeah, well,
then
I've
go for
got
it, you know?
800 subscribers to go before I can even monetize anyway. But I did hit 222 the other day, and I want to thank everybody who actually did subscribe to the show and everything. If you haven't already, please go over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. It really helps me out because it kind of moves me along in the process of trying to get monetized when it comes to this. And once you hit 1,000, I think they start, tossing you a 5-cent check or something.
Woohoo.
But no, I don't know those.
If you load it,
Yeah, but I know that some of those young YouTube cats, they make a lot of fucking money. And
my gosh,
wouldn't it be nice to just live off of that money?
I know. When you see some of their stuff, I'm like, what the blazes?
Yeah.
Then my son's watching something. I'm like, why are you watching that garbage? It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Then you see how many subscribers they have. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
I can be this dumb and do this too.
Dan TDM is a guy that my daughter watches, and he's like just this British, like he plays all these little kid games, really, you know what I mean? And he just kicks ass at these games, but his commentary, and it's English accent and this whole, you know what I mean? Like the kids love it, dude, and my daughter just eats it up. She's got a handful of YouTube's people and Twitch streamers that she watches, and it's crazy to me. I do myself, you know what I mean? I've got like bass things that I watch.
Yeah.
There's like, different I watch the Vice channel on YouTube as well.
Yeah, I watched that.
Have you watched that The Devil You Know? Have you watched that thing about Pazuzu Algarad?
No.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
So this dude is like considered himself Satan. Like he was a young kid that I don't know what happened to him, but he just like all of a sudden wanted to be really devilish. And Pazuzu's actually the demon that possesses the little girl in Exorcist. That's the demon's name is Pazuzu.
Oh, okay.
So it's just crazy to watch this documentary. The guy killed, they like his roommate said that he killed like 10 or 15 people or some shit like that. And they only found 2 bodies, but he was like a cannibal. And like the dude went to prison, and he had a bunch of girls that he, used to mess around with. And like the house was like a squatter's house. Like they just come and party and shoot guns in the house. And I mean, people would shit in the corner and just all kinds of craziness. Like the door had all these weird fucking things on it. Yeah.
I'm watching tonight.
Yeah, it's good. It's actually really good. The first time I had heard about it. There's a girl on YouTube. I think it's on YouTube. She does makeup and she tells stories of like murderers and shit. She does her makeup, and she's like putting on her eyeshadow and she tells the story. That's the first time, and she kept saying his name, Pazuzu. Like she kept saying
Pazuzu.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, what the fuck is this lady talking about? But she did Jeffrey Dahmer. I watched. The Pazuzu one, and then there was another one that I watched, but she did this crazy makeup, really cool makeup shit that she tells a story with. Anyway,
That's pretty cool.
and that Vice story is really fun. It's different,
Wow.
spooky.
Oh yeah, I like watching a lot of those things, like the killer ones and whatever, some serial killer ones, things on Netflix. I've been watching a lot of those, and like, wow, this is creepy. I'm like, what the blazes? And I just got done watching recently one about White Boy Rick.
That was a good one, man.
Dude,
I really liked that.
man, that kid,
Dude, he got fucked, man.
big time, man. When I saw that, and I went right on to that one lady's. When the district attorney says he should not get another parole hearing. Nope.
Yeah,
Even though the judge was going to rule on it, and she goes, nope, he doesn't need it.
yeah. And then
so
switched it.
Yes, and so I went on her Facebook page and I told her how much of a bitch she is.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of a bitch are you for doing this to this guy?
Yeah.
I'm like, I rarely do that, but I actually did that because I was so ticked off at her for doing that.
Dude, for anybody who's interested in the White Boy Rick thing, there's a documentary on YouTube or on Netflix right now that has it, and this is so crazy that it actually touches Hollywood, not only in just the story, but the guy who was in it, the fucking police chief
I know,
from
that's
Detroit,
crazy.
was in Beverly Hills Cop, for fuck's sake, right? And he's the guy who
yeah.
influenced all of that shit. And like even the district attorney and all of that shit, like he had all of those people under his thumb. When he was gone, all of a sudden she changed her fucking mind.
Go figure, huh?
So crazy, but it's nuts that he got out of one jail and then had to fly down to, what was it, Florida or something?
Yeah.
To serve the rest of it for a car theft or some shit.
Yeah, something he was doing for his mom.
It's crazy, dude.
It was like insane. I'm
That
like,
was
really?
that was a good one.
Oh, it was insane, man. I was like, oh, I've been seeing it for a while. I'm like, I'm actually gonna watch it. So I actually watched it this week, and I just love it.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this is amazing.
Yeah, what was another one I watched? It was about that hotel in the Skid Row hotel that the lady died in the water cooler, the water tanks on top of the building. I can't remember what the hell the name of it was.
Wow, I didn't hear that one.
Well, it was. I remember it being in the news. I remember hearing about it. An Asian student came over here and she was doing some traveling on her own in L.A. and she was a big time like vlogger. She had like a huge vlog following. Like I think it was what the hell is that? Not Shudder. What is the fucking? Damn it! I can't think of the vlog spot. It's kind of like a Facebook would be, but it's for vloggers and like video folks. Anyway,
yeah,
she's on this thing and she talks about her battle with the Cecil Hotel Cecil. That's what it's called. Thanks a lot, Macaroni. That's the fucking it's a great one. If you haven't had a chance to look at that one, but it also incorporates the Richard Ramirez one because he stayed at the Cecil Hotel quite a bit.
I saw that documentary on him on Netflix too.
Dude, you got to watch that Cecil Hotel one. It's really eerie, dude.
I'm gonna be busy this weekend.
Dude, the death metal guy or the black metal guy that was involved. He's from Mexico and he stayed at that hotel a year before this girl's disappearance. Like she just disappeared, vanished, right? They had video of her walking through the hallway and then ended up in the elevator, and they like all these internet sleuths like, what, dude, you got to watch it. It's really fucking good.
I think I've seen something about that. She was in the
elevator.
And then that was it.
Yep, she's gone. She just disappeared. Well, yeah, I remember it being in the news, but all of the things that they showcase throughout the whole history of the Cecil Hotel, because that's the main focus of it all is the Cecil Hotel.
Oh,
like
wow.
it starts with the girl, it ends with the girl, the whole story is throughout the girl, but they give you the rundown of how the Cecil Hotel was and how, like in the Depression, it was like a huge, hotel with it was like 700 rooms or something. Tony, was it like 700 or 900 rooms or something? It was a huge hotel, but it's in the middle of Skid Row. So it's like drug addicts and bums and shit everywhere. But they like redid it, So like the front of it looked brand new. So they renamed it something else. And then like from a certain amount of levels. And then there was like all the upper levels were all for all of the people that were grandfathered into this place. It was fun. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Tony says he believes it was like 700. So it's a huge hotel. Wow. I think it's closed now. Oh, even somebody said Life with Bobby says Cecil Hotel as well.
Hi, Bobby. How you doing? I know who you are.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, man. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, it's a really good one. You'll have to check that out.
Awesome.
Yeah. There's a lot of good ones out there.
Sweet.
Do you watch any gangster flicks? Do you watch any gangster like history of gangsters or anything like that?
Yeah, if I'm interested in it, I'll probably watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like watching things about like the old Chicago areas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How messed up these other guys are, so I love it.
Yeah. What are your go-tos when it comes to movies and things like that? Or do you stick with what the kids watch, or what you?
If I did that, I'd be like SpongeBob. No, thank you. But my daughter's really into the horror movies.
Yeah.
And so I'm
which ones is she watching right now?
Oh, she likes Conjuring 2, and some of these other ones. I'm like, I think you would really enjoy some of these other ones. She's like, really? I'm like, there's this new one. Like, I think it's called. I might get it wrong. Spiral.
I haven't heard of
it. Is that the one with like Jigsaw and the Saw movies?
Oh, okay.
So something like that.
Huh.
She's like, but I need to have her watch some of those other ones first.
Yeah, have her go back, dude.
She's really into that stuff, and my boys are not really. My boys are into the superhero movies, the Marvels, the DC stuff, and my daughter's into the horror movie stuff. I'm like, that's my girl.
That's fantastic, dude. Yeah, that's fantastic. I like both.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember what the last horror movie I watched was though.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad because I kind of fell out of that and just kind of.
Well, a lot of it's like all senseless murder stuff, which I'm fine with.
Right.
The last one I saw was The Strangers.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty. Like,
what was that one about?
These people, they just I think they go into this one house, and these three people just have these masks on, and they don't say anything. They just go in there and start killing them. People who just came and visited this one home, and they start shooting these people and whatever. And it was just, wow. It's pretty cool, man.
Craziness, man. Craziness.
Oh, yeah.
So how can people get a hold of your material? How can they buy your albums or download them or get any kind of merchandise?
Well, a lot of them you can go on to Bandcamp.
Okay.
A lot of them's on there. You can see Lassatoria on there. They're on the Coyote Records Bandcamp one. Chalice of Suffering, they're on the Transcending Obscurity Records one. And Forever Falling's on the MSH one. They have one song on there right now. And Solemn Echoes, that's on the label as well. Endless Winter put it up there on there. So you can all just look for the names of the bands or just go into Bandcamp and they'll find them there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys have coming? What do you have coming up as far as recording? Do you have any dates set or anything tentative right now?
Nothing as of right now tentative for the dates and recording. I just gotta. Me and Will, we started talking for a little bit recently. I think it was this week or last week. We talked a little bit like, hey, this is the time frame, but we need to sit down. We not sit down, but you know what I mean. Go on the computer and talk to the guys and give them our ideas. Like, okay, maybe me in the summertime or the fall. Then maybe have everything done by December.
Sure.
In the
dead of winter.
In the winter, that is doom. Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Well, awesome, man. Thank you very much for coming on the show, dude.
Oh, anytime, man.
I appreciate your hard work, man. I appreciate you giving the people an insight on how you create and how you put your mind into your music, man, and your sorrow, your pain, the things that you go through every day, man. I think it's like I said from the very beginning, dude, I think it's fantastic to relay that message to people, and hopefully people will understand and take. And I'm sure, John said this several times. Contact him. I'm sure John will answer some questions if you have some ideas or have some things that you've written down and not really sure how to structure them. I'm sure John can probably direct you in the right way, or at least point to one of his songs and go, well, this is how I did this, and this was what I was thinking at that time.
Oh, yeah. And when people lose their, I've done this before when somebody said they lost their father. And of course, say, I'm sorry to hear this or whatever. And then I may send them a message or a link to the song. What's the name of the song? Fallen from the first album, and ask the one about my father, and with the Gaelic words and the talk and everything else like that, and with the tin whistle and everything else on it. And so I send that out to them because it's basically how I feel. Right. About my father passing, and then one of them we sing in Gaelic is like, bring the words to our ancestors, and then I will see you soon. Right. And
steep, man.
It is, and I'm like, so I put that on there, and sometimes if I do, sometimes I lose the translation. Yeah. I have it in Gaelic, of course, but like, where's the English words for this thing?
Right. Yeah, I understand that, man, for sure. Thank you to everybody who had the chance to tune in and listen to the show. Thanks for all the people who are going to actually take a listen to it. Appreciate you very much for taking the time to listen to the podcast. If you're listening to the audio version, thank you again for listening to us talk about our lives, talk about how we created, how we do things, and please be good to each other, man. Be creative with the stuff that you have, man. Be compassionate to each other. Stay metal, keep it heavy, but keep it real, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, most definitely. And everyone, if you don't have someone to talk to, make sure you reach out to someone.
For sure.
Because it's always important.
Absolutely, man. Don't hold on to it, man. Life's too fucking short, man. And it's getting shorter every day. So live your life, man. Get out there. Be creative. Put it out into the world, man. Inspire other people. That's what my motto is try to inspire at least one person a day. That is that's absolute truth. Be real, man. Life is way, way, way too short Thank you very much. I actually want to make sure that you guys do me a favor. Check out Anti-Broadcasting Incorporated Custom Screen Printing. If you're looking to get some T-shirts done, if you're looking to get any kind of screen printing at all done, hit them up, antibroadcasting@gmail.com, or give them a call at 612-836-9488. If you're looking to get some tattoo work, please go over and check out Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective. That's lowbrowsaints@gmail.com, or give them a call, 612-353-4755. That's 612-353-4755. Look them up on Facebook. You can see some of their fantastic work. Also, don't forget, June 19th, that is a Saturday. We're hoping for fantastic weather. The 10th annual Louis Bailey Memorial Poker Run, which it is a motorcycle hot rod run and a benefit for Tanner Young. Please come check it out, man. It's going to be really fun. I will be there. A bunch of my friends will be there. We'll be riding around on our motorcycles looking like donkeys. It's going to be great. $20 per rider. A free dinner at the end, sponsored by Team Bubba Barbecue. Also, there'll be silent auctions at the sports bar at Park Place Sports Bar in St. Paul Park. Best 5-card hand wins $100. Best bike of the day wins a trophy as well. Our stops are going to be the No Name Saloon, Gaslight Bar and Grill, Naughty Hog, Harbor Bar, and back to the Park Place Tavern, our sports bar for the drawings of the silent auction, and we're going to be auctioning the whole fucking time. I got so much stuff to give away, and I'm excited to help these guys out. So please, if you get a chance and you can join us, that would be fantastic. I hope you guys have a good evening. Johnny, you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Thank you for joining us. Have a good night, everybody. Peace out.
Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness.